everyone, welcome back to GameTime, where fans and players meet, episode 6 in the beautiful Redefined Studios here in Cape Town. Joshi,
Lekker.
eventful weekend.
Very eventful weekend. Eventful week as a whole. How was your week, firstly?
I was good. I traveled to Joburg, so I did a nice event in Klerksdorp.
Klerksdorp. Where's that?
It's far. So we landed into Leinster. It took us 2.5 hours to get to Klerksdorp, to get to the event at Manne Aand for a primary school called Goutkop.
Manne Aand.
Like
Men's evening.
Men's evening, yes, got it.
I'm with you today.
So I had was a little bit of cockpit on the stage.
Lekker.
And then from there, Friday had Super Sport, first time in studio, which was quite cool. Really a lot of fun. And then, it was the big semi-final.
How was the Super Sport studio? Because I saw the clip of you talking about drinking out of the cup with Victor Matfield, I think, right?
Yeah. So Shimmy asked, like, which is the best cup to drink a beer out of?
Yeah.
I was just turned to Vic and I was like, the World Cup.
Yay!
But
can choose between the two of them as well. Yeah.
But no, it's an amazing studio, and it's an unbelievable setup they have there, and you can see they're probably one of the best production teams when it comes to sport broadcasting, probably in the world, in my opinion. So I always love following those oaks and love the content they get out, and it was a fun show. It talked about like the URC team of the year, our picks, who we thought was maybe good fill in that team, but it was quite a good show. Half an hour goes quick.
It's fast, especially in such a big studio like that. What I want to get into with you.
Yes.
Okay, you ready? So you flew this week and so did I.
Yes.
Okay. You're a large human being. I'm a reasonably large person. So flying is not necessarily a very comfortable experience 95% of the time, right?
Yeah.
Coming back from Joburg, I went Joburg to George. Have you ever had it where your ticket says 15C, that was my exact seat, and someone else magically, for some arbitrary reason, USA has 15C, and you've got to now decide who gets the seat?
Who gets the aisle seat?
Yeah. Maybe for you it's different because you just have to go, hi, and they're like, ugh, and they get up and leave. Not the case for me, right?
So you get your seat, so he's already sitting.
Dude, I was one of the last people to get on the plane.
Okay.
Because out of flying to George, it was out of a terminal at the Joburg airport that I actually didn't know was there, I'll be honest with you. You go through the check and you actually have to go down. And there's like a whole lot of other terminals down at the bottom. I had no idea that
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had no idea that even existed, right?
Oh, you get on the bus, and then from the bus you go to the plane. Yeah.
Exactly. So go down, and it's a much smaller little terminal. Each gate's very small.
Yeah.
So they got the screen above where you walk out to get on the bus, and it says priority to the left. So I'm thinking, because I'm on a video call with someone, so I'm watching, and I'm going, oh, they're boarding priority first because the gate is smaller and everyone's getting on a bus. Yeah. So they're putting all the priority people on, sending them off, and then sending the rest of us. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool, I'll wait. Dude, I waited for like 20 minutes. I had 8 minutes left before they closed boarding.
You were at the gate, though.
Dude, I was sitting staring at the gate going, I wonder when it's my turn to get on the plane.
That's not like an international flight. They go like, Group A, Group B.
Exactly, right? Now, I'm thinking it's like that.
Yeah,
so I'm going, the priority people take a cuck long time to get on this plane. So I go to the lady and I'm like, listen, should I be getting on the bus? And she's like, honey, you've got 8 minutes left. You better get on the bus. And I'm like, oh, shit, okay. So by the time I got on the plane, everybody's seated. So there's maybe 4 seats open, right? Me and then 3 other people behind me. I'm looking at the ticket and walking down the aisle and going 5, 8, okay, 12. And I go 18. And I go, shit, I walked past my aisle. Now I've got to tell the 3 people behind me, sorry. So I turn around. Yeah, I'm like, sorry, past everyone. I get to 15 and I look down and it's just spiky gelled hair sitting in my seat. And I was like, hang on. So now I start panicking, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone's seated. They're waiting for us to sit so we can take off.
Yeah.
So now I've got to go, hey, sorry, sir. I think we have the same ticket. And he just goes white in the face. And so I like kneel down And I check down the aisle while I'm talking to him, and it's him, his wife, and his daughter. And now I'm thinking, am I going to be the guy that's going to be like, listen, buddy,
Get out of my seat.
sec, I'm sitting next to your wife and daughter. So I start panicking, and I'm like, cool. So they must have made a mistake with our tickets. And I just start like backtracking hardcore. Like, no, it seems that they've made a mistake. I stand up and I look through the plane. I spot a random open seat. And I'm like, don't worry, I'll sit there. And I walk away. And as I'm walking away, I'm going, why did I just do that? The seat that I choose is a middle seat between two like stevige Afrikaanse mense. And so I come up to them and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm in the middle. And both of their expressions are just like,
Fuck's sakes.
Sorry. Sit in my seat.
And you sit like,
dude.
You can't work the elbow thing.
I was done. They've already been sitting on the plane for 15 minutes.
They're already gutful.
Dude, I tried to get one of the arms. Nope. These Oaks arms are fuss on either side.
Like super glue, like just pluck it there.
It was terrible. So I had to bring my tray down, put my phone flat on the tray, and the whole flight I sat like this. The whole way back, 2 hours, because their arms were like this, so that they could watch on their phone like this. That's how it felt. So my back didn't touch the seat the whole flight, because spiky jowled hair needed to sit next to his wife and daughter.
He probably booked for his missus and kid, and then he said, like, listen, I'll fly later or come later. And then last minute, couldn't get a seat. And then he was sitting there and he was like, this poor fellow is going to come sit here as well.
Yes.
Squeeze between the Boerbel 1 and 2.
It was terrible. It's one of the worst flights I've had. And thank you, Tegris Wealth, because that's the reason I was there.
Yeah.
Incredible dinner, incredible breakfast, incredible time with everyone. We'll get into that now. But they'd booked the flights like a week and a half in advance. So my way there, they gave me emergency aisle, which I'm going to ask you another question on. They gave me emergency aisle, and I had an open seat next to me. So I knew the flight guards were going to come for me on that flight back. There's no ways that going and coming, you get emergency aisle and an open seat next to you.
Yeah, but it's like my flight this morning. So I flew back this morning at 20 to 9, and also plane was like pretty full, but there was like an entire open row at the emergency exit,
In emergency
open row. So flight takes off. I'm looking around. I was like, is no one going to sit there? So I stand up, I mosey on over, and I go sit. And I call Skalkberg, and I said, listen, come sit here. And we chatted golf and rugby. Spoke about the semi-finals. But as you said, as the flying guards would have it, this morning when I've got a flight tomorrow morning again, checked in, only seat available is 10B.
See?
In the middle.
Dude, I swear it's a thing that there's no ways you'll get two good flights in a row.
Back to back.
Never.
Unless you got the money.
And okay, yeah, fair. Unless you're really wealthy, yeah, which Tigris can make happen for you. Bang! On emergency aisles, right?
Yeah.
2 points to it.
Yes.
I believe that people under a certain height should not be allowed to sit in the emergency aisle.
And kids. Yeah.
Tell me that a 9-year-old is going to save me if this plane goes down and this little boy or little girl has to be the one to open the door and let all of us through.
But I love,
it's not going to happen.
But I love the staff that works for FlySafe Air, because they very pedantic when it comes to the conversation, when it comes to the emergency exit.
Yeah.
Like, sir, take your earphones out. Sir,
did they say that to you as well? I had headphones on.
It's like, sir, remove your headphones. Like, are you willing to help in an emergency? I was like, yes, of course. I was on a flight from Joburg the other day, and there was also a man and his wife, but then the lady was pregnant, but you couldn't really see it. Like, they just knew it because of a previous flight. So one of the air hostesses came and said, listen here, ma'am, this is now the 3rd time in 2 weeks that you're flying. All 3 times we caught you in emergency exit. You're not allowed to sit here because you're pregnant. You need to please fuck off to the back of the...
Or give her the front row, where there's a lot of space in row 1. She should sit there. That row should be for...
able bodies.
Well,
no, emergency should be able bodies.
The front row, cool. Pregnant ladies, old people, important people.
They booked me. They booked me a flight. And I'm still in the neck brace after my operation. I sit there, and the lady comes. Listen, sir, please, would you just give up your seat because you can't operate the door like that with your neck brace on?
Yeah.
I said, yes, I can. Just a good one.
Good call. You're like, oh, I just use this to get free stuff. Yeah. This is all for show.
Is this thing still on? Shit.
Oops, forgot about that.
Yeah.
No, dude, I think if you under 6 foot, how tall are you?
On the money, 6 foot.
There we go. If you're under 6 foot, I don't take it back. If you're under 6 foot, you shouldn't be allowed to sit in the emergency aisle. And also, do you ever have like thoughts come to mind that are bad thoughts? And you don't mean them, but it comes to mind.
On a plane?
Like generally in life, on the plane when I'm sitting in the emergency aisle and the handle's right here, and I'm like, all it would take is for me to flip the thing and pull it, and we all screwed. Does that never go through your mind when you're sitting there? I had it on the way to Joburg. I was sitting kind of staring at the handle, and they were explaining that all you need to do is put this on, blow in this tube, a little light will flicker when it touches water, the usual kind of stuff for the thing that no one listens to. Yeah. Dude, I have headphones on with heavy metal blaring while I'm staring at her talk, and she knows I can't hear her, but I'm like, I'm paying attention. I can see the visuals. The bad thought of pulling the handle in the emergency aisle. Happens. I'm probably never going to be allowed to sit in an emergency aisle now again. But it doesn't ever happen in life for you as well. You're like driving your car and there's oncoming traffic on that side, and you're like, what would happen if I...
Just play chicken.
Yeah. Have you never had that? Have you never had like a bad...
You're sitting there in like the middle of nowhere. You're just driving, you see lights coming from the front, you just start pulling over. Come on, motherfucker, let's go.
Me versus you. Just a random guy on his way to work, and you're like, come on.
Come on.
Yeah, I have a lot of those sometimes.
I want to tell you a story about like talking about flying, and it was like I thought about it over the weekend, and I actually shared the story there at Loftus as well. But myself and RG, after the 2019 World Cup, we had to catch a very early flight back to Johannesburg. So stayed there extra day, like the Monday night, went out in Rapongi, and so had like a lacquer jaw. I mean, we need to be on the bus 6 o'clock in the morning to get to the airport at 7 to be on the flight by 9, type of thing. So we're jawling, like just won the World Cup, jawling, and all of a sudden my alarm goes off, and it's like 5:30 in the morning. And RG stands next to me, or RG stands next to me, goes, snooze it, just snooze it. I go like this, back in my pocket.
The boys are at it.
10 minutes later, it goes off again. RG, we need to go. Snooze it. Okay. Eventually we get to the hotel around like 6:15, half past 6. Managed to find our way to the bus. Get on the bus.
No sleep.
Fly to Hong Kong. Land in Hong Kong. 12-hour layover. So what does myself and RG do for 12 hours? We walk into the lounge. We go, listen, we're going to start at the top left, and just we're going to go dop for dop, like through the entire rack of alcohol.
Still on no sleep.
No sleep.
And now you're going to dop on top of the dop.
Dop on top of the dop and get through that 12-hour layover, and then see how far we can get down the list of drinks.
What?
Yeah. So, needless to say...
How far did you make it?
We made it like bottom shelf. Like, it was 12 hours, a long time, man.
It's half a day.
Yeah, if you have average like maybe one drink half an hour, it's like 24 drinks.
And did you go like not alphabetically, but did you go through whiskey?
Yeah, so there's like top shelves like Blue Label, Glenfiddich 12 years, like all the best ones at the top, and then the next one was like rum, and then vodkas, and then gins.
Mixed.
Yeah, so you start at whiskey and like do all the whiskeys. You do like whiskey, ginger ale, whiskey, soda, whiskey with
lemonade,
whatever you feel like next. And eventually it got to a point where we started drinking like Amarula and stuff. Now you drink all these hot liquors, and then you drink an Irish liqueur at the end with some
throw
ice.
that on top inside your stomach.
Yeah, that didn't feel so good. But
did you dop on the plane to Hong Kong?
Yes, but it was a short flight. Like it was, I think, 3 hours or something. That was quick, but it was from Hong Kong to Joburg is like a 12-hour flight or something. There, I was like literally, I passed out like this in business class. I sat with the safety belt across like this, and I sat, and I still had the glass of champagne in my hand. When I woke up the next morning, my champagne was on the table, and my seat was flat, and I was covered in a blankie. And that's how the lady came and like, please, Mr. Kitshoff, you need to wake up. We're landing in the next half an hour. I was like, thank you.
You dossed the whole way through that
Whole way
flight
through.
and woke up fine, eh?
Yeah. I mean, 12 hours uninterrupted sleep was good at that stage.
This is why it's dangerous to drink with you.
No, it's not.
It's terrifying.
Okay, you want to dive into the rugby a bit?
Let's do it. Let's get into some ruggers. Big week.
Yeah, big week ahead. But just on our predictions of last week, can you remember what you said?
I did. I think I threw a Hail Mary for Glasgow.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Leinster just quickly on their game. I mean, it was as a completed performance. I think when it comes to knockout rugby, they could have performed. Glasgow was in the game for probably the first 10, 15 minutes, which was exciting to watch, but they were just too strong, too clinical, put Glasgow under pressure when it came to high balls, breakdown. It's exciting. So it was a good game of rugby, and I'm very happy for RG, and I'm very happy for Jock. I think well deserved, deserves to be in the grand final. But then the big one of the weekend is the Bulls Sharks game. And dude, those first 5 scrums.
My word.
Jeez.
It's like there was no one in front of them, I'll be honest.
Like, I love Ox and Vince and Bongi.
Yeah.
But Volku, Jan Hendrik, and Grobby's just
straight through. Yeah.
And they found their rhythm a bit later in the scrums, and they stood strong. But that opening couple of scrums was tough.
It also shows you how I was quite surprised at it. The mental game of getting into a scrum and being driven that hard. If I was playing and someone did that to me, I'd be like, listen,
Come fetch me.
what's that bomb squad strategy?
Come
here. Yeah.
Bring in the bomb squad.
No, that was intense. It was a very clunky, messy game. I don't know if it was pressure, if it was excitement, I don't know what it was, but I mean, 3 yellow cards in the first half, all to the Bulls. Sharks are able to get to their 22 and then just not do anything about it, to be honest. I think I stand corrected, maybe you'll know better, but I think the Sharks were relying very heavily on the Fussy Mpimpy combo of kind of playing them through.
Them and getting Andre Esterhuizen over the advantage line.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching a game,
Which
and
you commented on. Sorry to interrupt you. You commented on exactly that.
Yeah.
For the quarterfinal, you mentioned that they kind of hook it to someone like him and just send him straight, and that there should have been a little bit more strategy to that sort of run, kind of get through the line.
There was a bit more. I feel like the Sharks were a bit more energetic when it came to their attack compared to the previous weekends, but it's just wasn't clinical enough. Like, I think, especially when the Bulls were 2 men down, that one more in the right hand corner, and I mean, from there it was 2 passes, in my opinion, and not that I know backline play at all, but like 2 passes. The Oaks like walking over in the corner. The Bulls' last defender was standing on the first post. So it was small things like that I think I would have wanted to see the Sharks do better. That coaching element, that 9, 10, 15 combo, actually realizing what's happening and not just sending like your Oxes in there, your Vinces in there, your Sias to carry the short balls, passing it to Andre. Like, maybe just expand a little bit, take them wide, and then see if the holes open up. But, I mean, I think still for the Sharks to turn their previous season around like that is brilliant. And you will see a lot of the Sharks boys represent South Africa in the next couple of weeks.
Am I correct in saying that this was the first time the Sharks have made it to the semis?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a massive improvement then. Over 4 years of the URC being around, to make it that far is big. And we said at the time of the quarterfinal, I wonder if we look at it as 2 South African teams, who's best to go forward and represent in a final. The Sharks must have been exhausted after that quarterfinal. to then play a semi against a team like the Bulls, which is hardcore. I mean, the scrum stands for itself as how physical that game was. Like, that's a tiring thing to do. Then you got to climb on a plane and travel for a day and play the final a week later against a very strong Leinster side.
Yeah, desperate Leinster side.
Desperate Leinster side, exactly. And I think the Bulls still have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder regarding last year's URC final. So I'm excited that they get the shot at redemption, because I genuinely believe that last year's game, that should have been theirs. Yeah. And you can say that about so many rugby games, but I think last year should have been theirs. So I think this is their shot. This is their return, their revival.
100%.
See them do something special. But Kitsy, this is our first ever episode that we are bringing in a rugby fan.
That's what the show's all about. Where fans and players meet.
Exactly. How's the call to action on that? So our third chair will be open today. We have a rugby fan coming in. He, without a doubt, knows rugby better than I do. Arguably as well, if not maybe better than Kitsy as well. Let's see. Bulls fan, hailing out of Durbanville, to Blanche. Thank you so much for being here.
Lekker.
Appreciate you a lot. Obviously, I know you from Durbanville.
Bietjie van 'n kontroversiële Bull supporter, ja.
You'll be fine in Durbanville being a Bulls fan. No one can argue it now.
No, exactly. And also, first of all, congratulations. I mean, having the Bulls, hopefully it's third time lucky in a final.
Yeah, I'm not getting my hopes up too early. I'm just gonna watch the game and observe. But yeah, I mean, last year I was gutted. Really thought we had that one in the bag, especially at halftime with a comfortable lead.
Yeah, I mean, but I think everyone thought the Bulls, especially last year. I mean, they were on top form.
Yes, dude.
But I must say, the Bulls, and it's tough now with Cameron getting injured, and I don't know what your thoughts are on that. But I think the team, with Huissen back, I think Willie Leroux's playing exceptionally good at fullback, and he's just driving that backfield of theirs. But so, what's your thoughts on that 9-10 Emrose Papiere, Huissen, Willie at the back? What's your thoughts on the Bulls' attack at the moment?
Initially, when the Goose got injured, I was a bit upset and I was very skeptical going into the tail end of the season and the knockouts. But Keegan actually stepped up. He played very well last week in the quarters. And then getting the news that the Goose is back, I was like, okay, great. And he played well, and then Keegan played well coming off the bench as well. Ambrose is playing phenomenal rugby. I think he's very unlucky not to get called up, but that's just my opinion. And Willie played well in the quarters. He basically governed the entire match. I think without Willie on the field last week, the Bulls lose that game. He was directly involved with 3 of the tries.
Yeah.
That's my take on that. I think the back 3, Sapas, yes, that guy's hit form. He's just reached a new level of intensity.
Yeah.
Some more elusiveness in his running and his carrying. The hits he put in yesterday in the semi was insane. And Kainen is Kainen. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
To say a lot.
Damn, he played well.
It's quite interesting. I mean, with Emrose, it's the stock that South Africa have at 9 at the moment. I mean, it's all the way from the Lions group with Krappie there, guys like Herschel Yankees and Paul the Vets. It's tough for them being left out. Emrose being left out of the Bok camp. I mean, Kobus Reinach's coming back. Faf is still there. Jaden and Grant and those guys, they're all such good 9s. It almost feels unfair for a guy to have one of the best seasons of his life, and he's the most devastating attacking scrum off at the moment, or one of the most devastating scrum offs. But there's just no space for him to get into the box, and I think that's tough. But and I think probably we can also talk a bit about the pack of forwards the Bulls have at the moment, and I would love to get your insights because, I mean, Marcel coming back from an injury, Rowan Orkia captaining the side extremely well. I mean, the front row is just devastating. What's your take on that, and how would you see that translate into the final next weekend? What would the Bulls probably pack of forwards wise need to do to stop Leinster?
I think the Bulls are very blessed with a lot of depth in the forward pack, especially at Lucy's. I mean, we lost Elrich very early in the season, and he's obviously out for a while. And to, at this stage, with Elrich out, lose a guy like Kemi, and then still have a World Cup winner coming off of the bench. I mean, I think we're very blessed there, and I think we have all our bases covered when it comes to that. But if we have to speak about the front row, I think we've been phenomenal there. Jan-Hendrik Wessel stepped up this season. He's had an insane season. His scrummaging was, in my opinion, the one thing we had to improve the most, and I think he did that. His work rate away from the scrum is phenomenal, defensive-wise especially. And then, obviously, the biggest guy this season for us in the front row has been Wilco.
Yeah.
He's been insane. I'm not going to say what I want to say. I think he was very unlucky not to win the South African Player of the Season for the URC, but especially with the amount of games that he did play and the impact he did have. I mean, the Bulls scrum has been dominant.
Yeah. But you're 100% right. I think Wilco, probably in my opinion as well, and I've known him for many years now. I've played with him at the Stormers, and he was always a great scrummaging. And sometimes it was just like, it felt like the work rate lacked a little bit in the beginning. But I mean, now that Oak is making cover tackles, he's carrying the ball well, he's like hitting breakdowns non-stop. So yeah, I think also well-deserved. And if you look at like the elite 15 that the URC put out, is Jan-Hendrik Wessels at Lucid and Wilco Louw at tight head, and it's well-deserved because those folks have been the best two front rows, and not taking anything away from guys like Ox and Vince and Neetling, who's also had exceptional seasons and well-deserved to be in the Bok group. But those two just, in my opinion, have been, I mean, the cream of the crop.
Yeah. What do you think, like in your opinion, right? I'll play devil's advocate from like a fan's perspective, right? Obviously, I won't have the knowledge that Stephen has. No shit. But I like reading through the comments and the reviews and seeing what people are saying, which a lot of the time you can't make your judgments based off what fans and the public think. But a lot of people make the comparison of, if you look at the way that Leinster were able to pretty much walk Glasgow through that second half, and then you look at the way that the Bulls performed against them, and it was a great performance, but it wasn't an outstanding takeaway, walk them, cheers, thanks for coming. How do you think that's going to now resonate into the final when these two superpowers kind of come together?
I really think that when it comes to playoff rugby, I think Kitshoff would be able to. Playoff rugby, it's an on-the-day thing. Finals rugby, it's an on-the-day thing. Also, when teams play against each other, you only play, in my opinion, as good as the other team allows you to play. Like what Leinster did to Glasgow was, defensive-wise, they just shut him down completely. When Sione got the ball, there was 2-3 guys around him. He didn't get the space that he needed. The one time he got the space, he scored an incredible try. I think it's going to come down to defense for the Bulls a lot. It's one of their strengths. And obviously Leinster rely on that a lot as well, but it's very difficult to make a prediction at this stage.
Yeah.
Especially not knowing who's going to play. But I do think that on the day, the Bulls can beat anyone, and on the day, Leinster can beat anyone. So we'll just have to, what we say means tyd sal leer.
There we go.
We'll have to see.
Time will tell, yeah.
And, I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a blockbuster. I think it's going to be a tight contest. The Bulls have been playing very well away from home as well. But Leinster are desperate, like you said earlier, Kitshoff.
Yeah.
They know that this is their chance to right the wrongs of the past, and I think they're going to throw everything into it.
Yeah.
And just like the Bulls, who've lost out twice now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Just to talk a bit about that as well, like the Leinster being so desperate. Like if you had a clear look at the two games over the weekend, like Loftus was packed.
47,000.
47,000 people, packed Loftus, loud, cheering. I mean, at the Aviva Stadium, that entire top row was no one.
Yeah.
And that was it's a clear sign, it almost feels like the Leinster fans are losing confidence in their team. I mean, they put up a brilliant performance. There'll probably be a sold-out Cork Park next weekend. But, it's like that. Leinster needs that win, to get the confidence back from the supporters, to get the confidence, the fans' confidence back in the coaches. But the Bulls could, as you said, on any day can go and disrupt them. I mean, they are devastating when it comes to defensive breakdowns. Their defensive set piece and defensive structure is just so well oiled at the moment that I can't see how Leinster can just try and run away with everything, because there will be pressure at lineouts, there will be pressure at the breakdown. I can't see them doing those little fancy passes all the time, because there will just be guys flying at them. So yeah, for me, it's like this weekend probably just to probably point out one or two things, in my opinion, that I think the Bulls need to get right to win. It will be that set piece dominance, and it will be to shut down the Leinster attack. I think Willie, Huissen, Embros, the Lucies, they're all good enough players to create attacking opportunities. So I don't doubt the Bulls will be able to attack well, but it's that shutting down Leinster's play and that kicking game of them.
It's something that's so cool to see in a rugby game, when the discipline is so on point, and you can see it through all the set pieces. Like the Bulls in the scrum were phenomenal, and I really want to get your take on a Leinster Bulls scrum in a final and what you think on that. Their lineouts were so good, like to the T, and then on the high ball, you've got someone like Kane and Moody picking that apart every single time. How do you think those sorts of things in terms of set pieces would play out against Leinster, looking at a scrum, a line out, a high ball? The Bulls seem to have every angle covered.
I mean, I think obviously the scrum has been the strong point for the Bulls. The Bulls have had their line out disrupted a few times yesterday as well. But like you said as well, the high balls, Kainan, very good. I think the first couple of scrums was obviously it's going to set the tone. I think the Bulls were unfortunate yesterday not to get their own feed in one of the early scrums in the match. Okay. And I think they were a bit unlucky not to get a few of the calls going their way. But regardless of that, Leinster have a very good pack as well. I mean, with Andrew Porter and Dan Sheehan in the front row. They're littered with Irish players, experienced players who have won trophies. They'll know how to step up at that stage. And I think, just like I said, the first few scrums is going to tell us what's going to happen in terms of the scrums. When it comes to the lineouts, I think lineouts are a bit give or take. You've seen it sometimes. A lineout works perfectly during a match, and you bring up a substitution and everything goes
changes.
Bad, or you have a guy that contests very well that comes on. Vincent Chichuka did that very well last night. And the high balls, Leinster have a few of their own guys that are phenomenal under the high ball. James Lowe is just incredible.
What's the number 11, the dude with the man bun?
No, that's James.
That James Lowe. Damn, that guy's good. Yeah. Every time I watch him, I'm like, shit. Damn it.
And Tommy O'Brien, all those guys.
They're all very good. It would be interesting to see, like, as you said, like, I want the Bulls in the opening minutes of the game. I would love to see this pan out, like Leinster knock on or something happens at the kickoff, and just that first scrum is like a caterpillar just going through. Like it's just bulldozing those oaks.
You'd have the entire country of South Africa out of their seats if that happened.
But that would just like, it would be such a nice trendsetter, because it's like, if that first scrum, you just get Jan Hendrik and Volku and Grobby's just over the top of them. It just sets the mood for the game. So I'm excited to see it. But I think probably in that sense, Leinster's not a stupid team, and they've got a smart pack of forwards. They'll come up with tricks and ways to try and avoid the scrum. I think they know they won't be able to win there, but but like
what was your guys' take on the 3 yellow cards? Because the one that they gave to Hanekom, I was very confused about. Because there was no intention, like, at least I don't think he was intentionally trying to land Sia in an awkward position until another Sharks player had entered into the chat.
Yeah, I think obviously to the letter of the law, Sia did land on his head.
Okay.
It's going to be a card regardless.
So you think, like, regardless of what took it to that point, it still happened?
There was mitigation involved with the Sharks player coming in.
It's lucky he didn't get a red card, to be honest.
Really?
I'm a bit confused with the Marcel could see a yellow card at the end of the first half.
It was a repeated infringement.
Did they give a warning for that? Or was
There was other penalties that happened leading up to that.
Okay.
There was like,
But not the same infringement
same
specifically.
Wasn't it the first one in the 22? I mean, I'm a Bulls fan, so
Yeah.
I'm going to argue with it. So
no, it's good, but no, it's like there was
Yeah.
things that happened quickly off the edge. I think it was just like because it was quite cynical. It was 5 meters from the line. They didn't give the penalty try away, but he still collapsed them all, and I think the ref was just a bit over it.
I was just confused because he gave a warning after the next penalty. But I mean, the fact, I'm going to say it now, I think the Sharks will be very disappointed that they weren't able to capitalize
100%.
when the Bulls were 13 guys on the field. Like you said, Kitsy, the 2 tries the Sharks did score were on the wings. Mapimpi and Ethan Hooker scored. And they have a maul in the corner. They probably have a 2-3 man overlap at least. They could have gone over and scored there, definitely, at the end of the first half.
No, I think the Sharks will be kicking themselves if they have to relook at that 10-minute phase when they were 2 men down, because the opportunities were there. Like they could have easily pulled the trigger, played a bit more expansive rugby, but also I don't know what the mindset is of the guys. It's in trying to tire out the forwards, thinking they've got the endurance game on them. That's why maybe kept it close. But I mean, in a semi-final, you have to take the opportunities, every opportunity you have. And then talking about like the yellow cards and discipline, I mean, the Bulls can't allow yellow cards to happen against Leinster because they'll punish them big time, because they will take those opportunities. But I'm excited for this weekend. I'm going to be at Capital Craft in Pretoria, so I would have been in Pretoria anyway if the game was there. But
Are you at the game?
no, I'm Capital Craft, so it's a beer festival there. So I'm going to drink some craft beer.
Time to send it.
Yeah, and then watch the game there. So I'll be very lit by the time the game kicks off.
100%. You got to be Letty Teddy ready for that. I don't know where we're watching. Are you guys watching in? Are you doing a Haney's Durbanville vibe?
No, I'm going to host a braai at my house. It's my birthday during the week. So
lekker. What day is your birthday?
On Tuesday.
This comes out Monday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday for that. Happy birthday. And Kitsy, let's do happy birthday to you. Hey. Happy birthday to you. I was by myself on that last line, but I love you guys. Happy birthday. Got you, bugger. The Bulls have obviously now pulled through, will be in the final, get the shot at redemption. But it was an exciting year overall for every South African team, right? Looking at the other 3 that haven't made it through, from a fan's perspective, I'd love to get your take on what? On the other 3 teams and what you think went wrong and what you would like to see changed moving into the next season.
I'm going to start with the Lions.
Okay.
I was very gutted by the way they started playing when they went on tour. I'm not sure, it was a few, maybe 4 or 5 rounds before the last round. And they went on tour and they started losing after they were on a hot streak. Even if you look at the beginning of the season, they were top 3, I believe, for the first 3-4 rounds. And all of a sudden their form just dropped and they lost home games to a team that you expect them to win. They're obviously a very young, inexperienced side compared to the other South African sides. And I don't really know what went wrong. All I can say is I was extremely disappointed as a neutral supporter when it comes to their matches. The Sharks, they obviously are littered with Springbok players, and they had the best season they've had so far. So I think they can definitely take a lot out of the season and build on that. And when it comes to the Stormers, obviously as a Bull supporter.
Okay, there's a rivalry. I like it.
There's a rivalry.
I watch a lot of Stormers rugby because I have a lot of Stormers friends, and for me it's just very frustrating.
Yeah.
There are times where the Stormers play some of the best rugby I've seen. Like that try that the Stormers scored after half time against Glasgow. That was Stormers rugby as I grew up with it. That's how I know Stormers rugby. But it seems that the Stormers do rely a lot on individual brilliance.
Yeah.
They obviously have a lot of brilliant players. I mean, Sasha is phenomenal. Warwick is phenomenal. Damien is phenomenal. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
But I do feel like they do rely on those guys to be game breakers a lot of the time. And they don't necessarily break down a team's defense like you would see from a Sharks or a Bulls or a Leinster or a Glasgow. Yeah, that's my take. Okay, yeah, that's my take on the Stormers.
Dude, great take. Great take. Yeah. Frustration was definitely the right word.
Oh, dude, that I watched that Glasgow game and I was shouting at the TV. It's just fuck.
Yeah.
It's close. Yeah.
I'm not gonna name names, but certain players that I expected to do much better did stuff that I wouldn't.
It's a bit more out of character.
Yeah, a bit out of character, uncharacteristic mistakes, and maybe a bit overwhelmed by the moment.
You know, it's also like, I think for the fans, it's going to be such a cool thing for Cape Town coming now, 28th of June, is the Barbarians coming to Cape Town, playing against the Boks.
Yeah.
So that's going to be super fun. And you know what I'm actually looking forward to the most? And because I think the Boks against Italy is going to be a nice way for the guys to try combos and then especially against Georgia as well, like try different combinations leading up into the rugby champs. But the British Irish Lions touring Australia.
Yes.
That, I don't know what your take on that, but that I'll wake up for every morning.
Yeah.
And I'll go to studio and
I'm
talk about it.
pretty comfortable to say that I think the Lions are going to take it.
Yeah,
But I also have to be careful doing that because it's Australia and I'm very biased against Australia. So
no, it's going to be tough. I don't know what your take is, and you can maybe elaborate as well. But like, the Lions tour is such a big thing, and I think Australia at home, they'll probably would have prepped very well for this thing, for this tour. So I don't think it's just going to be a walk in the park for the Lions in the first place. I think even their midweek games, it's going to be tough, and they're going to play against some strong opposition. But I think probably Australia will win 2-1, I think, at the end of it.
you think so? Okay.
I would love that to happen. To be honest,
Really?
I think the best thing that could have happened for Australia leading up to this tour is Schmidt staying as the head coach. At the end of last year, the Wallabies really started gaining momentum, especially with that win against England. They started playing some good rugby after really struggling to find their feet. And I think Schmidt has had time now to put his system in place. And his coaching style, he has a very, I would say, conservative way of playing the game. He likes to break down a team. He likes to analyze other teams and find their weaknesses and capitalize on those weaknesses. So I think he'll have a very deep look into how Andy Farrell coaches a team. And let's hope they can do something. And when it comes to the Lions, what a squad. I mean, and what a coach as well. I think it's going to be, from the Lions side, they're probably going to be playing the more exciting style between the two teams. And for me, one of the best things to see when I'm watching a game is seeing a defensive force, a team with a very good defense and a very tactical and rock solid strategy meet up with a very attacking team, and it being an even contest. So I'm really hoping for some good rugby with that tour.
Yeah. No, and I believe it will deliver. I think a tour like that, it happens only every 12 years. So
It's going to be cool.
It's going to be cool.
Very, very cool. To close off on predictions, what are your predictions for the URC final?
You go first.
I'm going to go for a classic South African one-pointer.
Ooh.
I like it.
I'm going to go the Bulls. Let's go 29-28.
Sure. Okay.
It's a tough one because I've got my analytical brain on now. I'm saying it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But my heart is for the Bulls and for South African rugby. So I think the Bulls will win, and my score would be 22-18.
Is that head or heart saying that?
It's hard.
What is head saying?
Leinster by 20.
By 20. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, Leinster's, again, I stand corrected. Leinster's kicking wasn't great at all.
Yeah, Pendergrass struggled a bit. But
it wasn't a great day for kicking, so I'm not feeling very confident.
Kicking didn't really have any
the effect
on the outcome.
Yeah.
Granted, good point. So, look, I don't think they're going to struggle to get over the line. So I think I like the 1 point difference. That'll be a try for try, them kind of going back and forth. I was going to say I don't think Leinster are going to leave the teens, and I think the Bulls would make it into the 20s, but I'll put it at a low teens for Leinster and a high teens for the Bulls. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be a very high scoring game. Maybe I'm just hoping for that. I hope it's a very 50-50 entertaining match. But again, that's my heart saying that. I hope the Bulls take it. I really, really, really hope they do. So
it's also like, if you think about venue, I think they're playing at
Croke Park.
and I don't think the Bulls have played there before.
I don't think so.
Yeah, they've only played Aviva and RDS.
I'm not sure where they played Munster when they beat them.
They would probably play there. But yeah, it's a massive stadium. It's like a 90,000 seater.
yes.
It is a big stadium.
That's almost double Greenpoint. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a full attendance and all the Saffers come out the woodwork. We just
They
want
were
to
just
see.
like book tickets from London.
Come on, boys. Fingers crossed. Let's let it happen. Hopefully for your birthday week, the Bulls give you that as a gift.
Yeah.
So
Come on,
Bulls,
Bulls.
please. To Blanche needs that birthday gift. Have a great birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Lekker to have you. You are always welcome. Obviously, you know rugby better than anyone else that we know in Durbanville. So thank you for your time. Kitsy, again, thank you.
Thank you.
It was a busy week of traveling, but we made it here.
We made it.
Yes, yes.
Pulled in.
We
Eventually.
did it. And you back off tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning.
Back to Joburg.